I think I actually managed to go live on time today, so love that for me. Only downside is I don't know if anyone is actually here yet, in which case I don't want to start rambling because that would be a little bit sad and embarrassing. I think so anyway. So we're just gonna give it a couple of minutes because again, this was not planned very well. So we got someone. 1 second. I'm trying to like close things on the surface. I don't know why I thought that wasn't going to have a pop up. Yes, I'm sure I want to quit without saving. Oh, hi, Monet. We got LM Monet, so hello to you. Happy that you're here. My goal. Oh, I thought I heard the door. Wanted to give it like some emergency contact realness, and then I had a pink drink earlier. So we were just, it was a moment. It was a theme. No, I don't want to save any of these things. Please just close all of those things. Thank you. I will not be doing a makeup video because I don't know what I'm doing. If you want makeup content, check out Life as Monet. She got the makeup content because it's not ever going to be me. That's just not going to exist on this planet. I feel like I should also mute the group chat. So let's do that because my phone is vibrating in my pocket. And I love y'all, but I really don't need buzzing right now. So mute for 8 hours. I don't have, wow, that's on Tuesday. You're not even letting me breathe. Yesterday you're taking my blue and yellow. Today you're taking my pink. What can I have, Monet? What can I have? Okay, first of all, I turned Heather on to emergency contact. So it don't get to be Heather's brand. She can have the lovely war, but she ain't getting emergency contact. Mary H.K. Choi is my brand. I know that I adopted the blue and yellow from Permanent Record, but let's not get it twisted here. Let's facts are facts. I know that she grew faster than me, but no, that is my. I mean, do I love emergency contact as much as Permanent Record? Not really, but I'm just reclaiming my time. What was I saying? So I answered that one. Hello, Angela. Happy that you like the eyeshadow. Let's catch up properly now. Thank you. Thank you again. Thank you. I probably won't pull up all of the happy birthday messages, but it's still early. I can do that for right now. Thank you. Hello. Thank you for coming out. Like I was starting to say, I didn't have anything planned for this. Thank you. So we can answer questions. We can talk about books. We can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. I don't know. I think hauls are weird videos. I'm trading the blue and yellow for the. Can I put this on screen? I'm trading the blue. Okay, I still can't seem to have anything. Just taking everything from me. Hello, thank you for coming out. Haul videos to me are a little bit weird, and so I wanted to. I'm happy. It's a good book. I know for a minute there, Emergency Contact was that's actually shorter. It was low-key hated on the BookTube, but I think that we need to reclaim Emergency Contact as a YA staple because it is. It's so good. Hi, Jen. Happy you could make it out. And you're not late. We've only been here for like literally 5 minutes. And we haven't really talked about anything. So, Alicia, you need to focus on your job. I'm not trying to get anybody fired. But thank you for coming out and supporting. No, we didn't do anything. We didn't do anything. And I'm not even convinced that most of them remembered it was my birthday. which is why when you're all out here hating Taryn for betraying her family, and I'm just like, betray away. Now we know why. Villain origin story right here. Yeah, I think they're a little bit boring. So I wanted to have something that wasn't boring. I mean, this could still be boring. I don't know. Let me not make promises that I can't keep. Hello, Emily. Thank you. What was I saying? Thank you. Hello. Thanks for coming out. What is this one? Happy birthday, many years to come. Thank you. That's very sweet. Let me actually, because I can't promise that I'm going to be lively. Monty, you can never be boring. That is a lie. I find myself boring constantly. So, but I appreciate it. I certainly try not to be boring. That much is for certain. Okay. I didn't miss anything over there. Not missing anything over here. Okay, let's just go back over here. Well, that's just a lie, but I'm going to take it. Thank you. You know, we're trying. Monet out here bullied me into buying it, so I feel like I have to get my money's worth. So far, I feel like I've achieved that, but who knows? Let me know what you guys have been reading this weekend. I haven't read since I did my What Are Time Zones reading sprint. So there is that. Villain origin story. I remember one time my grandma forgot my birthday, even though we talked about it the day before. She literally woke me up on my birthday, told me to make breakfast. My uncle told me to go buy paper plates today, and I almost bought them, and then I was like, I don't really think we need paper plates today. And so I didn't buy any. Thank you to all the happy birthdays. You've been writing? Ooh, what are you writing? That sounds like a fun time. It's not that sad. It's not. Let's see. What's this one? I'm rereading Twilight. I feel so bad for you. I don't know why you would choose to do that to yourself in the year of our Lord 2020. I mean, I read Life and Death, so I can't really judge you too harshly here. Like, it's on my channel. You know that I read it. We talked about it. It was a moment. But at the same time, there's a lot of other stuff you could have been reading. Just DNF it. No one will know. Oh, Katrina made it out between this and your birthday look. I mean, I'm doing what I can. I still think Monet is the master. I just started. I Was Born for This. Other than what is I Was Born for This? Is that by Alice Oseman? It sounds like an Alice Oseman title. I just started The Cruel Prince. I hope you like it more than I did. People be making jokes. I don't get it. That happens to me all the time. I just finished. Oh, 1 second. I did skip one. Okay. I'm reading The Deck of Omens, and it's somehow more boring than. Ooh. I didn't read either of those, but I hate that for you. You finished My Fairy Godmother's a Drag Queen. Haven't heard of it. Haven't read it. You're reading Song of Solomon by Toni Morrison. Definitely haven't read it. I don't know if I'm intelligent enough for Toni Morrison. I don't think I'm intelligent enough for any classic art, literature. So that's where I stand on that. I am so behind. Let's catch up here. You're about to reread Giovanni's Room. I hope you like it again. I don't know if you actually liked it the first time, but I'm assuming if you read it once, maybe you did. I never watch hauls and TBRs. I'll figure I'll get real opinions and reviews and wrap-ups however. Aw, that's so nice. I'm happy that you find my stuff entertaining. But I agree. I don't always watch hauls. I usually watch TBRs, but hauls, I don't always. I'm so glad I can finally tune into your live. I've returned to work, so I've been missing your lives. Happy birthday. Thank you. I'm happy you could make it. I'm listening to the audiobook on the come up. I haven't listened to the audiobook, but I do love that story, so I hope that the audio does it justice. I absolutely hated Twilight when I read it. Even as a teen, I thought Bella was whiny and Edward was toxic. I can't relate to that because when I read Twilight, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Up until I got to Breaking Dawn, and then when I hit Jacob's chapters, those chapters are so boring, and they're so weird. Can we really have a discussion about how Jacob got so pressed after that wedding that he went to a random tourist location and was like trying to force himself to fall in love with somebody else. Like, what was the point in that? Like, really, what was the point? Truly, honestly, what was the point? Can we also talk about what was really the point of Eclipse? I couldn't tell you anything that happened in Eclipse. Like Twilight, I can only tell you what happened because I recently reread it, and I still think that the preface, the Twilight, is the most iconic thing in the whole like quartet. New Moon was my favorite just because I thought it was the most interesting, and Eclipse couldn't tell you what happened. So I never liked it. I mean, I loved it when I was a kid, but I definitely didn't pick up those vibes because I did enjoy it. But looking back, I have no fucking clue what happens in Eclipse, other than I think that's where the tent scene is. But I don't remember why. I don't remember what the point of that one was. You're starting American Gods by Neil Gaiman. I hope you enjoy it more than I did because the audiobook confused me, so I stopped listening. Happy you're loving the eyeshadow. Yes, it is an Alice Oseman, and it reads like One Direction fanfic. I'm not surprised, but I'm also not the biggest fan of Alice, so take what I say with a grain of salt. I'm trying to find roller skates in my size, but no one has big... I mean, I feel like you could probably... I know that when I was... everyone else was like getting their little roller skates, and I was Googling, I found them to be exorbitantly priced. And then the fact that I also have larger feet, they wanted to charge me another $100, and I was like, I am a fan of the aesthetic. You can do whatever you want for the aesthetic, but you're not charging me an extra $100. Like, that I think is unreasonable. Especially when they're already expensive. Like, it's already expensive, and they're going to be more expensive, and I'm going to use them for what, 3 days? Nope. I don't want to plug on your birthday stream, but okay. Like, congratulations. I guess you did anyway. Not until, I mean, that's the truth. That is the truth. Where was I? Okay, I was here. Same, that's me. I almost finished Not With All Boys Are Blue, and it's hitting me. I haven't listened. I think it's available on Hoopla, so I could listen to it, but I haven't yet. So that's me. Reading Him by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy. Wasn't Elle Kennedy the author that said that she couldn't write female because nothing inspired her? After she said that, I stopped. I mean, I was never going to read her books because I don't read romance like that, and I really don't read enough indie published books, period. But when she said that, I was like, I'm good on you, Miss Kennedy. I am so far behind, guys. I am so... Like, I know there's a delay, but I am still at 6:09, and in real life, we're a good 3 minutes after that. So let's... Maybe I have to stop reading every message. I don't know. You love Toni Morrison, but it takes 2 or 3 reads per page. Oh, yeah. I am definitely not built for that at the moment. You did like it the first time. That's... Love to hear it. Camille, I'm ready when it's done. Oh, that was the person who was plugging their book. Classic books, writing style, genre from brains, constant fight, and I always lose. Like, I've read some classics. I think that some classics are obviously written... I mean, to be like, most classics were written to be like popular entertainment during the time that they were written. So, like, I understand that in theory they're meant to be easily digestible, but it's a hit or miss thing for me. Definitely. Gonna eat some pizza. I love pizza. That's a perfect way to end the weekend. Happy birthday. Finally off work in time for a live, a Henny, and lemonade toast in your honor. I love that for you. I love some lemonade. Who didn't hate Jacob's chapters? That's what I want to know. When people talk about they were Team Jacob, I'm like, you just wanted to fuck Taylor Lautner. Because Jacob in the books has no personality. When I was rereading Life and Death, Jacob is in like literally 3 pages. Maybe 10, dozen max, like, and everyone hates New Moon, so there's no way you were reading New Moon falling in love with Jacob. Like, no one was Team Jacob in those books. I didn't want to fuck Taylor Lautner, and I stand by what I said. Yeah, because they were terrible, and they all had superly awkward long title names. It was stupid. I mean, I think there's a lot of people in that situation, so... But he was a Confederate soldier. Who wants Jasper content? That was him, right? That was the Confederate? Couldn't be me. I never read the Twilight books in college. You girls try to get me into them. Thank God peer pressure doesn't work on me. I mean, I read them. and I enjoyed them. And I was in 8th grade when I read them because that's when I think it was right before the first movie came out, and it was a beautiful happenstance. I think that Breaking Dawn came out before the movie, and I just marathoned through them. So I remember I bought, maybe it didn't, maybe Breaking Dawn came out after. I don't remember. I do remember that I want to say it was birthday money to buy Breaking Dawn at Borders. Oh, Borders, I miss you. How you gonna skim the middle part of New Moon? New Moon is the best. What do you mean Eclipse is your favorite? What happens? Maybe you already answered what happens in Eclipse, but what happens in that book? Oh, Victoria came back in Eclipse with the newbie vamp pack. Okay. Jennifer, I missed your comment. What is going on here? We just finished A Law Interest via audio, and it was fantastic. You loved it. Shattered World, it was not great. So back to the Accident of Color. I really okay. I'm happy you're reading all of these things and enjoying at least 2 of them. You tried reading Twilight in middle school and only pretended. Oh, well, I hope that worked for you. I hope that she did eventually like you and you were able to have good things happen. Eclipse was the first movie I saw in theaters. I hadn't seen the first 2 movies, nor had I read any of the books, but girl had a crush and wanted to watch it, and I regret it. I'm sorry. I think I watched New Moon and Twilight in theaters. I don't think I watched Eclipse in theaters. And Breaking Dawn Part 2 was like the last legit midnight premiere I ever went to. And I say legit because after Breaking Dawn Part 2, all the movies started coming out at like 9 o'clock, 7 o'clock. And so why would I wait up until midnight when I could go watch it at 7 o'clock? So that was a moment. Thank you. You read Twilight, but my parents told me I was only allowed to read the first 2 because the characters have inappropriate relationship. You know, that's valid. I don't think you need to read past the first 2. I think you're living the superior existence. What do you mean there's no taxes on children? Where do you live where there's no taxes on children's shoes? Because that's definitely not a thing here. You didn't have Twilight at 50%. That's another great existence to lead. If I wasn't a booktuber, I wouldn't have a YouTube channel. There was a moment. I have a lot of videos on this channel that are privated because they are not about books, and they're me trying to discuss like the television shows I was watching at the time because I was in a quote unquote reading slump. But those videos are so bad. I mean, they're not bad. Like, they're just, I don't know. I just feel like they don't fit with the content that I make now, so that's why they're privated. But maybe I would be talking about movies and not movies, but like TV. But I don't know. If I didn't have books, then I probably just wouldn't have a channel, if I'm being honest. Toni Morrison has beautiful writing. I'm sure she does. Oh yeah, Elle Kennedy said that I still side-eye people who read her books, especially if they... I mean, I think you can still read her books because I'm not going to front and pretend like I'm out here reading every sapphic book ever in existence. In fact, I don't say that I actively look for sapphic books. Like, usually they just happen to be there, and I'm like, oh, didn't know that was going to be a thing. So, like, fine. But I think if I was an author who had written, like, 3+ male romances, maybe I would entertain... And I think she's written more than 3, just to be fair here. I think I would entertain female. And if I wasn't going to, then I would just say I'm not going to. I wouldn't say that I don't have any plots, because I don't even know what that means. Hopefully at the point, because I'm still behind here, I'm at 6:14 in the chat, and I'm 5 minutes behind. We have slipped. But yeah, like, I would love to see some defenses. See, he was boring. I'm gonna skip the happy birthdays. I appreciate it, but I just want to be able to catch up here. I mean, but technically they weren't even werewolves in the final book when the Volturi showed up, and they're like, "You silly natives, you're not werewolves. You're just shifters." I was like, "What's the point?" Like, at this point, Miss Meyer, what was the point in that? But I don't think I would choose between them. But I might just go with werewolf as well. I'm not sure. It depends what universe we're talking about, and like, why am I choosing? I guess that's kind of valid. I think the movie, I've only ever rewatched Twilight, and I only rewatched Twilight for the baseball scene, but How? Why would he? I mean, he deserves better because he was like a Native American character, an indigenous character who was poorly written by some Mormon woman. Sure, like if you look at it through that lens, he definitely deserves better. But like just as a random character that exists in the ether, he had nothing to do. I mean, I'm not ever going to reread the last three books. Like, I'm just not going to. I'm still not even sure that I'm going to read Midnight Sun, but you won't catch me saying that Jacob deserved better. I don't know if I could go that far. I don't be like we had nothing to talk about, and you provided me with many. I mean, this just to be fair, like this was like a year ago, and I don't expect anybody to remember stuff from like a year ago. And I still think that you can read whoever you want to read, like, just to be clear. That, I mean, yeah, I'm just going to move on because that's not really my place. Okay, maybe I just love Jackson Rathbone. I take it back. Okay, I mean, you can love him. I personally, my favorite Twilight character is very controversial. It's Miss Rosalie Hale. I think that Rosalie Hale is the most iconic character in the series. And I understand that she says some questionable things. And I understand that Miss Hale is low-key pro-life. But she's my favorite character. The world deserves better for her. And when I had to read Life and Death and Miss Rosalie became Royal, Royal deserves no rights. 0 rights for Royal. They had DVD release parties. I am learning so much. Wow, the more you know. Because I didn't even know that. I got like a Twilight t-shirt for Christmas one year. It was so embarrassing. Okay, I'm not alone in here. I miss Borders, Fave from the Lommer Bookstore, the one in my town with 2 stories, and took up most of the block memories. That is so bad. What is it? The one in the Grove is 2 stories. And so is the one, where is it? I don't like 2-story bookstores, if I'm being honest. But I guess that's just me. She turned out to be a racist. Oh. Well, I'm happy you got away then. I remember being obsessed with Twilight movies before I knew any better, but now, heck no. I mean, and live in Canada, we have 2 taxes, provincial and federal. Kids stuff only have the federal tax, so I guess not no taxes. Okay, that's the more you know. I didn't know that. I don't believe that for a second. I think that I don't know. I'm not a makeup guru. Okay, I own 1 palette, but I feel like it might just be a formulation issue. I don't know though. Like I said, go to Monet. Life as Monet. She'll fix all of your things. Remember when both Edward and Jacob wanted to forcibly give Bella an abortion? I mean, like I said, like the whole series is questionable, but Rosalie, that's my girl. I loved her. And I think that if you didn't love Rosalie, then you weren't reading the same book I was reading. I like the True Blood book Vampires more. I never watched True Blood. Last year, my cousin, he read all the Sookie Stackhouse books, and he was going to get rid of them. And I was like, give them to me. I'm a reader. And I didn't read a single one of them. I think in like 2012 or something, I'd have to look at my Goodreads, I read like the first 3 Sookie Stackhouse books. And like they were cute, but it was very clearly romance. And everyone was just fucking to be fucking. And I just wasn't ready for that, especially for something that's so long. If that series is so long, and all they're out here doing is fucking, it was a lot. In all honesty, I don't remember much of what happened in Twilight. I read in 4th or 5th grade. Yeah, like Taylor Lautner is a good-looking man, and I appreciate Taylor Lautner and all of his other works. But I will say that all of his early career stuff, he was just a bad actor. Like Twilight was not his best moment. Abduction, we don't need to talk about Abduction. Abduction is a terrible, god-awful movie. But then he went off and did Cuckoo, and he came back. I didn't watch him on Cuckoo. But he came back, and suddenly he was decent. Like, his Scream Queens, like, that was a cute moment for him. I really appreciated that. I always like Werewolves better, and backstory, their packaging for interesting. Yeah, that's that. She is. We do love Rose. Yes! That was so iconic, and that's why I was so mad. Like, so I was reading Life or Death, right? And so because it's just like a reimagining, instead of like at the end, what happening in Twilight doesn't happen in Life and Death. We kind of get the same background we get over the course of the 4 books at the end of Life and Death. And when Miss Meyer decided that Royal Hale couldn't have been sexually assaulted because he was a man, I was like, are you kidding? Like, what do you mean? I was mad. But Rosalie deserves all the rights. Hi, Alexis. Happy you could make it. I hope you're still here. I know I'm behind. The more you know. What did I do with my day? I took a nap because I was up until 3 a.m. editing that book haul and watching Monet and Aaron do some sprints. And then after my nap, I took a shower. I went and bought myself a pink drink and a slice of cheesecake. And then I came home and I scheduled the live. No, I think I scheduled the live after the shower before I ran the errands. I made a lasagna, some Stouffer's, not from scratch. And then I did this eye look, and I was like, let's go live. It was a very chill day for me. Very chill day. What's embarrassing? I am behind like a good however long. So you're going to have to remember. It's iconic. I used to love the Twilight books, but I stopped reading when I heard about the crazy. Yeah, the Vampire Baby was a step too far. Definitely. That was a step too far. Yeah, didn't need it. Didn't need it. Would you rather be forced to review every book you read while being a slow reader, or never discuss a book or read books in a faster pace? When I started the channel, the goal was to review every book that I read, and that's definitely not been the case. But I would definitely rather review every book that I think. I think that I'm decently fast, but compared to a lot of people, I'm clearly a slow reader, so I'm not sure anything would really change. So I'm okay with not reading fast. I'm not obsessed with reading speed, and I don't think I need to get through a lot of things to be a good reader. Oh, thank you. I guess, like I said, didn't really watch it. The Vampire Diaries, I watched 3 or 4 seasons. Whenever Bonnie started talking to that black guy is when I dipped out. Because they kept giving Bonnie really bad dick on that show. And on the Vampire Diaries, if you didn't have good dick, then you had bad storylines. And Bonnie was constantly getting bad storylines. Like, her storylines were worse than they had Jeremy out here dating the ghost. And then when they gave Bonnie Jeremy, of all the white dick on that show, I was done. Couldn't be me. So I'd never finished the Vampire Diaries, but I enjoyed Bonnie. I'm happy. I believe that Bonnie did not die in season 8, so I was happy for her. And that's really all I got to say about it. Klaus and Marcel, I don't fuck with Klaus. I think Klaus is a terrible person who was a confirmed slave owner. And Marcel was out here trying to get with his aunt. So the originals is even worse to me. Like, sorry, I'm not watching this black man that you adopted after being a slave owner not recognize him as your family so you can set him up with his aunt. That's just disgusting. And y'all, there have been so many live shows where I keep seeing people out here really loving Klaus, and I just don't see it. I don't see it. I don't get it. Is it because isn't he the one that's also like a werewolf? Get out. And then he had all kinds of. I'm just moving on with my life. Moving on. It's terrible. So fucking terrible. Sookie Stackhouse is my trash dicks. I love to read them. Yeah, I'm sure that they're great. If that's what you want, I'm sure that's you're gonna love it. And I'm not gonna be like, oh, the show is so different, because I've seen like a couple of episodes and everyone was fucking in the show. I do know that they made changes because my cousin would talk to me about them. But I think that for what it is, I'm sure it's great. I'm happy you love him in Shark Boy and Lava Girl. I think that's a terrible movie too. Thank you. Rosalie is an icon. An icon. Favorite mythical creature, definitely a good fat storyline for me. I don't know if I have a favorite mythical creature. I'm basic. Like I don't do a lot of research. So I don't like when a mythical creature pops up in a story for me. I'm gonna need you to explain how this shit is working. If it's not a vampire or a werewolf or like a shifter, I ain't gonna get it. I guess I like witches, but they're not really mythical creatures. I understand that they're actual like real life practicing witches, and there are people who get very upset when you include them in like mythical creature status. But anything that you can eat, like magic wielders, I fuck with a magic wielder. I think that sometimes that's interesting to me. Okay. I'm happy that people like the live sprints. Like, and then when I get comments on the replays, it makes me happy. Woo. Just because they're long videos. Like, I don't know, but I'm happy that people are enjoying them, and I'm happy that Monet and Aaron did some on their on Monet's channel. I don't think they need to like take over BookTube or anything, but I think they're fun, and I would not be opposed to people stealing the idea. I mean, maybe I should, because I ain't never gonna get credit for it. But it's not like it's a totally original thing that I would really need it. But still, yeah, I really enjoyed that love last night. Thank God it wasn't just. Oh yeah, thank God. I'm hoping this one doesn't get dismantled. I thought about having some guests on, but I don't know if I need. I don't know. The Vampire Chronicles. I love Amand. I've never read the Vampire Chronicles or watched any of the adaptations. I think Anne Rice is like a questionable author. Her son Christopher Rice also kind of rubs me the wrong way. So Bonnie was done dirty. Bonnie deserves so much better. Yes, Bonnie got all the bad dick. Name one good dick she got on the show. You can't do it because she didn't get any storylines. They gave Caroline all the good dick. Can we talk about a bad character? Fucking Caroline Forbes. She got all the good dick. All the good dick on the Vampire Diaries was running through Caroline. And for what? What did Caroline contribute to anything? Nothing. Bonnie is out here saving their asses time and time again, and she can't even get like good dick. My friend, not my friend in my head maybe. Princess Weeks, Melina Pendulum over here on YouTube. She has all the Vampire Diaries takes. She has many a Vampire Diary video. If you want actual like analysis and discussions of the show from someone who actually watched all the seasons, I highly recommend her. I highly recommend her just in like point blank period, because I think she's like the only creator I followed the entire time I've been watching YouTube videos, and I just love all her takes on just about every show that I've watched that she's also watched. So can't recommend them. Yes, Marcel was trying to fuck what's her name, the blonde one, the blonde original, and when I found that out, I was like, I'm never gonna watch the show. Like, he was adopted. That's your aunt, and you're trying to smash. Get out. That's really how the TV. Yeah, if you didn't have exactly. Thank you. Klaus is a horrible person, but the one redeeming quality is I don't care about his love for Hope, because I didn't care about Hope. I don't care about Hope's mother. Here's the thing. Marcel is also your son, and you don't seem to be giving two fucks about him. But now he has a white daughter, and he's out here like, you want to say that's his redeeming quality? That ain't redeeming for me. If you have if you can care about your white daughter, then you can care about this black son that you used to own. Like, come on now. I'm living for this TV dragging TBH I'm rewatching right now. There's been many a times that I've been tempted to go back and rewatch it, but then I just don't think I can. I do think that Legacies looks cute. Maybe just because it looks like a lighter teen show. It looks like a teen show that I would actually enjoy, but I never watched the originals, but I know that was like a flirtation that was happening. I don't know if they actually ever finally slept together, because again, I love oh, yep, see, they did. I've only watched Legacy, so I don't get the Klaus hype, especially when his iconic daughter is right there. I mean, again, like, I've never got the Klaus hype. I think that all the other originals are more interesting characters. Maybe not Rebecca for trying to fuck her nephew, but the other ones are cool, I guess, enough. They do. I keep forgetting that I need to, like, scroll down. They do Hope So Dirty. I'm going to have to take your word on it because, again, I'm not watching it. I mean, if Marcel is if Klaus was Marcel's adoptive dad, then Rebecca was his aunt. He got with Rebecca. So yeah, like that's what I'm just like. I don't need to catch up on that show. Don't need to catch up on it. You don't have to give me credit. It was a joke. They were doing reading sprints on Twitter for God knows how long. So I'm looking forward to being in. I just like watching people go live. It brings me great joy. I think that more booktube should be live. That isn't just like it's a book club thing. So anything that gets booktubers live makes me happy. I will also say that when a certain character leaves the show, Bonnie's storyline. Oh, I mean, at that point, they have to. Who's going to carry the show? You want Stefan and Damon? What are they going to carry? You want Caroline to carry something? Put me and Aaron on reading split. I mean, maybe. Facts. Caroline was trash. Thank you. I mean, I don't know if she was trash, but I didn't really care. Okay, we are going to get through these. Bryce used to regularly go after reviewers ever since she's gone after some friends. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Don't hate on Caroline. She was one of the few tolerable characters. Alexis, I'm happy for you, but from my 3 or 4 seasons, I did not care. Throughout your reading journey, is there any characters you connect with or want to be them, and why? I don't want to be Pablo Neruda-Rend, but Pablo Neruda-Rend from Permanent Record by Mary H.K. Choi, hands down favorite character ever in existence, always and forever. Simon Lewis, again, he is my true trash fave. Because he's a trash character. He's from the Mortal Instruments, he's the only reason I would want to read Shadowhunter Academy, the little fanfic collection. But definitely Pablo. Caroline was so irrelevant. I hated her so much. I mean, Obsidian. That's by Jennifer L. Armentrout, right? Isn't that what, like the alien romance? Is that what that one is? And Rice is questionable, especially after you try to sue fanfic writers. Yeah. Oh, I mean, you get those books from the library. That's how I want to interpret that, because I'm not wading into that lion mine. Also, Bonnie was supposed to end with Damon, but they canceled the show. I mean, I know that Princess talked about how in the books, Bonnie and Damon got to be together. But in the show, they kept giving Bonnie bottom tier dick. The only decent dick Bonnie got was Enzo, and that was during a time jump, and then they killed him off in the final season anyway. I mean, wasn't Enzo the black guy? Because I didn't like him. The one who was like, embraced the dark side or something. Bryce was the Vamp Queen. I will read her now, so I tell the crap she's done. No, but she's my Vamp mom. Love to see it. I mean, that's valid. I probably will watch her shows. I think AMC picked them up, so I might check them out. Yeah, that's all I know about her, too. Someone loved Enzo. I tweeted it out. I thought about putting the link in the group chat, but that felt kind of weird. I didn't want to have to like moderate people coming in. But if people want to join, I can put the invite link in the chat. My favorite current shows that are airing, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on Amazon Prime is the only reason I sign up for Prime like once a year. The show is low-key problematic and kind of terrible, but I love to see it. Chicago Fire is currently airing, but I'm not caught up on it. I'm still on like season 2, I want to say. And I only started watching because Alberto joined the cast, and I will do anything for Alberto. Titans on DC Universe. I'm mad that it has not been moved over to HBO Max. I think that DC Universe was a failed experiment. And low-key both seasons of Titans are low-key hot messes, but I love to see it. What else am I watching? I think that probably isn't it, but off the top of my head, that's what I still watch Riverdale. I would not call it a favorite show, but I also think that you don't get to have an opinion on how bad the show is if you stop watching. Like, you forfeited your right to comment on anything that is happening. I mean, you still can. Like, I can't stop you. But I mean, if you're not suffering with me, then I don't want to hear your hot takes. Nancy Drew on the CW. I didn't get to finish the last few episodes, and I was low-key mad because they had Katie Findlay. She used to be on the Carrie Diaries. She played the one that got pregnant. I hate her as an actress. I don't know what it is. She was also in season 1 of How to Get Away with Murder. She was also in a couple of seasons. I think it was season like 3 of The Magicians. Like, she played like a one-off character. I hate Katie Findlay with a burning passion. It's totally unreasonable, but Nancy Drew, their adaptation is actually fire. So I do recommend that show. If you only watch one show on the CW, make it that show. But also All American is kind of cute. I'm also behind on All American, and Dynasty is a fun time. Black Lightning, also a fun time. That's the only sort of superhero show that's part of the actual Arrowverse that I watch. And even then, it's only just become part of the Arrowverse. And I don't even think it's like fully part of the Arrowverse, but not my problem. Oh my god. I mean, I just do what I can. Legacies is fantastic. I mean, it's super cheesy. I think that's what makes stuff like that fun, though. Like, I don't expect super serious things from shows that involve magic. I've never read Mama Rice, but I read Baby Boy Rice. His books are super melodramatic. I'm not surprised. Not surprised. He just, like, I don't know. He's a white gay, so he gives me weird vibes. But I think I've only seen, like, one review of his books. And I low-key think that he's only successful because of his mother. But like I said, I haven't actually read them, so I have nothing against him. I mean, I don't mind campy shows. I think there's a place for them. Elijah was a sap his whole life. I mean, I like Elijah more than Klaus. Elijah's more attractive than Klaus. That's questionable. Legacies is a fun teen show with angst and characters. I mean, yeah, I think that's where it's supposed to be. The makeup video is never coming. If you want makeup, Monet is right there. I mean, I love it too. It's kind of questionable. Isn't that the German show? Isn't that the one that like is in German? Or am I thinking of a different show? Let me go back up. I'm almost caught up, guys. It is so great. You'll love to see it. Yes! I love Famous and okay, let me tell you this. When Famous in Love was canceled, I was low-key upset about it because it was my show. So good. Like, was it the best show? No, it was not. But Famous in Love slaps, and I would watch a season 3 in a heartbeat. Also, when they canceled Pretty Little Liars, The Perfectionists, I didn't care about the original show, but The Perfectionists, that show was iconic, and I'm so mad there's only one season. I'm happy you love Titans. It's a good show. It needs to be on HBO Max, though. I'm not paying for DC Universe. But the tension between Hope and Josie is what I live. Okay, I mean, anybody who has faith in Julie Plec, you ain't never gonna get anything right. See, it's great and it's trash, and let me tell you something. I'm actually very upset with this time jump. Now I understand the purpose of the time jump because Katie Keene is also set 5 years in the future from where Riverdale was. So I understand wanting them to be in the same spot so they can do crossovers, because that's what CW loves to do. But I'm so mad it took them that long to do it. And I'm so mad that they're going to do like 3 episodes that were supposed to air this season and then do the time jump. Like, bitch, no one cares about those episodes. Nobody wants to be stuck in this season. This season was the worst season. So trash. Nobody wants it. Let's skip forward. Give us that time jump. Give us fully fledged adults. That's what we want. Yes, Nancy Drew is so good. Yes, I hate her with a burning passion. Why do I hate her with a burning passion? I don't know. I do know that when I was watching her on the Carrie Diaries, wasn't feeling her. Was it because I was a young baby gay and I wanted Walt to be living his best 80s gay fantasy? I did. And you know what? She got low-key done dirty in that show. Because not only was she like the gay boy's like girlfriend for like 3 seconds until she was pregnant, and Walt was like, well, we never fucked. So and but Walt was gonna be a good guy, I think. He was going to be there. But then he had his beautiful summer in the city, and then the show was canceled. It was great. It was beautiful, iconic. You'll love to see it. Will I laugh at it every time I watch it? Yes. Does anybody else get to laugh at it? No, they do not. No, they do not. That is for people who suffered and people who suffered only. It's good. I need to catch up, but I do like it. Sometimes I worry about the CW shows, but then I'd be like reading like, what is it, like Deadline or Variety, and the CW wants to talk about how their Netflix deal makes all their shows like so successful, and I'm like, do I need to watch it when it airs then? because they be throwing them shows up on Netflix immediately, and I would much rather binge it on Netflix. You know, I don't know if that makes me a terrible person. Yeah, Legacy. I do see the commercials. They got a lot of people who aren't white in the commercial. You're currently watching Nancy Drew and loving it, but def check out Legacies because that is fun. Okay, maybe I'll have to. I had some cheesecake today, and I do like some cheesecake. So, okay, it is that one. It is problematic, and it is awesome. I did watch The Circle. I didn't watch all of The Circles. I thought The Circle was actually a fucking bad show. Like, I didn't like it at all. I did like Phoebe Tonkin, but here's the thing. I also have an irrational hatred of Britt Robertson. Like, hate her so much. Why? I couldn't tell you. But I do, and so I didn't care about her or anybody else that's going on. But Phoebe Tonkin was cute. I'm happy she got to go on to the Vampire Diaries, onto the originals. They'll be Klaus's baby mama. Like, good for her. She secured the paychecks. That was it. I did like Britt Robertson in For the People. That was canceled after 2 seasons on ABC. That was a fun show if you're into law. Oh, we got Pan Mains. It was so good. So good and so bad. The perfect. I did not watch Hannibal. I don't fuck with that. Charmed. I like the old Charmed, the original Charmed from the first 3 seasons. Anything with Paige, I don't really fuck with, because then you had like all of that, like, will they, won't they with Cole. Hated Cole. Then after the Cole shit, you had like the Paige shit. Didn't care about Paige. And then like the stuff with Chris was cute. That was a moment. The final season, that was a choice. But the first 3 seasons with the OG Charmed ones were great. They were great. I understand they wanted the show to keep going after their little mess with Alyssa and what is her name? Shannon. I understand they wanted to keep the thing going. But when they introduced Paige, it was really confusing to me because I was like, how are you the Charmed ones if there's always been 4 of you? You know what I mean? As for the reboot, that one has me confused because they were hyping that show as like Latinx witches, and they got 1 Latinx person in the cast, and they got 2 black girls in the cast, and one of the black girls is the one that was like half related to them, even though you would think they would make the one that's actually Latinx. It's a whole mess. But I watched a couple episodes, and it was cute. I think it's on Titans airs on Netflix internationally, but in the United States, it's only available on DC Universe. So I guess if you use like a VPN or something, you could probably watch it. But in America, you have to watch it on that. What is this? Do you think there will be a crossover with Sabrina? I'm assuming you're talking about Riverdale, and I don't. Partially because of the time jump, but also because they are on separate networks. Like, I know that the CW has a deal with Netflix, but they don't air on the same channel, and they're in totally 2 different genres. I think that the time jump was made to make Katie Keene crossovers easier, without having to worry about weird timelines. Because I know that they had Kevin appear on Katie Keene already. Katie Keene is actually a really bad show, and I hate watching it. I hate it so much. But I don't think we're ever going to get a Riverdale Sabrina crossover, and I don't want one. I think that we're going to have like maybe moments where characters go to the other city, but it'll just be like it was in the last season of Sabrina, which I also think is terrible. Just being honest here. I think Sabrina's a terrible show, but I don't think we're ever going to see them cross over like that. Queen of the South and 100. I don't watch either of those things. Greenleaf and fucking, what is it, Queen Sugar? Also really good. Also really behind on those. And Claws. All of those are currently airing shows. I'm behind on them. That's probably why I didn't think of them. But I watch Queen Sugar and Greenleaf that's the messy show. I watch those when they're on Netflix. And then I think Claws is on Hulu. Excellent programming. The whole mess of a storyline didn't make no goddamn sense. I'm going to take your word on it because I never watched it. That's unfortunate. I feel like I saw you say that in somebody else's stream. I think it was Heather's. And just like that, I'm so far behind again. I have not seen Blood and Water. The only one I watched was Elite, and I only watched season 1. I I was watching Sailor Moon for a hot minute there. Usually when I have a TV show on of any language, it's meant to be on in the background so I can do other things. And you obviously can't do that with things I need to watch in subtitles. So I don't have any... Yeah. Y'all talk about Riverdale. What about that American teen show? I don't know what you mean by that American teen show. I watched the first 15 minutes of season 1 of The Politician, and I hated it so much. I think that... Oh, can we talk about Hollywood for a second? I'm just gonna say Hollywood was bad, so that when I catch up with the chat, we'll actually have a discussion about it. But that show was fucking terrible. I only watched the first season, so that's good. Yes, that's what I'd be doing. I have never heard of this ever in my life. It was bad. It was bad. Secret Life, that was a mess. I only watched the first couple seasons of that too. I love Big Brother. I watched one season of Big Brother, I think, and it was cute. I watched The Circle for Gail. I don't even know who that is. That seems to be a popular opinion, but not me. The first 3 seasons of Trump are amazing. I really loved it. Yep, that's what I'd be doing. Only CW. So close. Watch I can't even watch Supernatural, but I'm happy that you love it. Okay, so the 2 black sisters are the full sisters, and the Latinx sister, the half sister. One of the black sisters had to be hidden from her sisters for a reason. But that's not accurate. That's not even what happened. I mean, maybe season 2 they changed it, but the older scientist sister is the half sister, and she's not Latinx. She's full on black. I think she might have some white. She might be Caucasian, but I think who is it? Sarah Jeffries. Sarah Jeffries is Latinx, or the other one. No, I think Sarah Jeffries is also black. I think it's who is it? Mel. I think Mel is Latinx, but everyone else is black. I don't even know what's happening. Like I said, I don't watch it, but I think there's going to be a weird time on. I don't know. I don't really keep up with Sabrina rumors because I think it's bad. I don't even think it's good. I think that the first season had everyone fooled. I thought it was going to be cute, but then I also was telling. As soon as I finished watching the first season of Chilling Adventures, I was like, I think season 2 of Riverdale had already aired, and season 1 of Riverdale is also. It's probably the best season of the show because it had a tight plot, and the CW only gave them 13 episodes. It's hard to fuck up anything with so few episodes. You usually get Teen Wolf, the first 2 seasons of Teen Wolf, and they had 10. I think they had 10 the first season and 12 the second. Tight seasons. But the moment you give these showrunners 22 episodes that they need to fill, shit falls off the wagon. And so I was telling everyone I knew was Sabrina's going to fall off the wagon because we've already seen him fall off the wagon in season 2 of Riverdale. We already know all of his worst impulses. And then what did he do with season 2 of Sabrina? It was RES's hits of everything that made Riverdale trash he threw into Sabrina. And for some reason, people seem to keep acting like Sabrina is above Riverdale in some way. They're both, and it's not just the musical episode. Let's not get it twisted. Are the musical episodes kind of questionable? Sure, but the musical episodes are not the worst part of Sabrina. So that's just what it is. I have not watched the OA. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't work there, so they can do whatever they want. I have not watched Scam. Love is Blind. I have not watched. Hollywood was so weird. I don't have enough room to type. Yeah, it was so bad. There were moments where I was really here for it, but then overall, there just wasn't enough time. There wasn't enough time. There are Afro-Latinas, but on Charmed, ain't none of them Afro-Latina. It's a mess. I think Princess Weeks, who I was just talking about, has written about it for the Mary Sue because it's weird. It don't make no sense. That's okay. Well, I'm happy that they changed it, but that's wild. Okay. Yeah, because it don't make sense. Oh, I'm so close to catching up. Season 2 of Sabrina was boring. They're all boring as hell. All of them. And can we talk about how they keep trying to do Roz dirty? Let's let's be honest here. Season 1, I wanted Miss Sabrina and Miss Harvey to get together. I wanted it. I was here for the shit. But then when they set up Harvey with Roz, I was like, you know what? This is cute. This is a moment. This is the blueprint. And then in season 3, or like 2B, whatever that stupid shit was, they wanted to sit here and act like Harvey was still in love with Sabrina. No, sorry, not here for it. Like, no, not part of my plan. They are a curse. They are a curse. And I think that's why I don't like, after season 3 of Teen Wolf, I had to check out. Because you can't give me an A and B plotline in the same season. I just don't fuck with it like that. Because at that point, just have 12 episode seasons. If they're going to break it up that way anyway, make them actually be good. Because they're never good. Because then, especially with Riverdale, they try to be tying in the A season towards the end of the B season. And it's just like, this don't work. It don't work. I mean, I like the Weird Sisters, but even they got fucked over. They ain't getting nothing good. Nothing good happened to any of them. They sat there and lynched Prudence in season 1, and y'all were silent. And then in the most recent season, when they were over here fucking over all the black people, everyone wanted to act surprised and scandalized. It's like, bitch, they lynched her in season 1. They like straight up lynched. Like, there ain't nothing else to say for what they did to Prudence. She was lynched, and y'all just sat there and ate the popcorn. I love the second season of Sabrina because I love looking at storyline carried the show. Okay, I mean, I'm happy people liked it. I mean, that's valid. I mean, I think they had a lot of attractive people on the show, but people want to sit here and act like Jim Parsons was delivering some next level performance. And maybe it's because I hated the Big Bang Theory so much, and I didn't like that it ran for like 3 million years. But every scene that Jim Parsons was in Hollywood was the same fucking scene at the same level, the same just weirdness. And I didn't need it. Ain't no one need any of what he did. None of it. And then they wanted to end the season with him being like a good guy. Like he didn't just spend 9 episodes sexually assaulting everybody. The fuck am I watching? But after a few episodes, I wasn't feeling it. The cousin, nope, I don't trust Mr. No. Y'all keep saying this. And Mr. RAS, Mr. Roberto, has shown time and time again he gives 0 fucks about any of his black characters. From Prudence to Ambrose to Josie. That man can't be trusted. I do not want a Prudence Ambrose spin-off show because he would fucking ruin it. Just stop. Just cancel everything. I officially gave up on Sabrina after watching season 3. I don't like her either, but I'm just like, everyone on the show is a hot-ass mess. Who's believing that? Like, I don't. Exactly. It will always be superior. I did not like Sabrina in season. No, I mean that's valid. They did, and people. Okay, so I am still a somewhat avid Tumblr user, particularly in the Sabrina Riverdale fandoms. That's mostly what I be talking about when I need to vent my frustrations. And people really wanted to come at me and be like, well, the ghost children hung Sabrina first. Like, the Weird Sisters did it first. And I was like, okay, sure. But Sabrina sat there with them ghost children all day plotting her revenge. Then she got her auntie to come help her get revenge. And we're all using magic here, right? So if you want magical revenge, I think you can do magical revenge in a way that doesn't require the black girl getting lynched. That's just my idea. Like, point blank period. Think you can get it. Like, you got magic on your side. You can do it. It truly is. I also couldn't watch it. Is anybody a fan of him? Where was I watching it? Where was I? Oh, I did see Vanessa Morgan because she is, and I've been saying that since. Let's talk about Miss Tony on Riverdale. So when they introduced Tony on Riverdale, and they had Jughead and Betty in a breakup, right? Like they were not together, and all they did was fucking kiss. Everybody and their mother was out here apparently on Twitter. At that point, I wasn't really using Twitter like that. They were sending this girl death threats for having a character on a goddamn TV show kiss somebody. So I clocked it. I was like, y'all ain't fucking with Tony. Okay, Riverdale fandom, I got you. Then suddenly, Miss Tony and Miss Cheryl start hooking up. They're a thing now. Suddenly, everybody in this little Riverdale fandom wants to act like they've been on Tony's side from jump. And I was like, no, I see you. I saw you. Remember when you were sending Vanessa death threats? Because I remember when you were sending Vanessa death threats. I ain't never going to forget you sending Vanessa death threats. But okay, y'all can kiss. Y'all can do whatever. Then, as soon as she got with Cheryl, Tony's entire personality was erased. Homegirl wasn't taking pictures no more. Homegirl wasn't hanging with her friends no more. Homegirl was stuck in Cheryl's house wearing Cheryl's clothes. Just no line. Girl got no line. She was just getting paid to sit next to Madeline. And like, I understand that Vanessa and Madeline are friends. They tested during the pilot together. Madeline suggested Vanessa to play Tony. They're friends. I am very happy that those two have a friendship and that they were supportive of making this relationship happen. But Cheryl, first of all, is a terrible fucking character who I could never fully support, like point blank. But as far as sapphic representation goes, like she gotta. Where's Tony? She ain't representing nobody. Like she just sitting there with her mouth closed. So when it was revealed that Vanessa was getting paid the least, I was not surprised. I was like, I watched you fuck over Ashley. I watched you fuck over Aisha. I watched you fuck over Haley Law. Like, all the black girls on your show got fucked over. Of course Vanessa's getting paid does. I was not surprised. And I was mostly happy that she said something. And I was more happy that she was saying that she didn't have anything to do, that she had no kind of a storyline, that she had no plot line. Because I've been saying it, and everybody wanted to come at me on Tumblr talking about, no, she has this, she has that. Homegirl got nothing. And since she said that, people have been shut up. They shut up real fast. They got nothing to say now. I enjoyed Self-Made and I'm the Queen, but I didn't watch AJ and the Queen, so I have thoughts on that being canceled, but I also don't like RuPaul. I watched his Drag Race. That's as close as I get to supporting him. As for Self-Made, I haven't watched it. I watched For Harriet's discussion on Self-Made and her interview with, I think it's Madam C.J. Walker's. Was it Madam C.J. Walker? Yeah, because she wrote the book, and so they did an interview on For Harriet, Kimberly. I think, what was her name? Kimberly Brown, I want to say. I feel like that's not right. But her channel is For Harriet, and they did a whole interview, and that was great. I recommend, if you like Self-Made, I recommend watching For Harriet's discussion if you haven't already. She had something to say. Exactly. Ambrose carries that show. No one believed that Harvey was still in love with Sabrina. Yeah, it was a stupid plot line. I don't know if I would say Ambrose carries the storyline, because I think that Ambrose, I'm not pansexual, so I can't speak to him being like good pansexual rep, but I don't know. I feel like they do something weird. I do like American Horror Story Coven and Apocalypse are the only seasons that I've watched start to finish, and I enjoyed both of those seasons mostly. Let's talk about the mess that is Supergirl fandom sending black men death threats for kissing Katie McGrath. Yeah, I heard about that. I don't watch Supergirl. I watched Supergirl when it was on CBS, so season 1, when we still had Cat Grant, and because I think I had just I'd watched, what was that show she was on? Ally McBeal. I watched Ally McBeal and I fell in love with what is her name now? Calista Flockhart. Love Calista Flockhart. Never finished Ally McBeal, but I love her. And so I was watching season 1 of Supergirl mostly for her. But then it switched to the CW, and the CW films all of their shows in Vancouver. And for some reason, Calista will only work in Los Angeles, which I understand that Calista has like a family, but Harrison Ford be working all over the world. Like, he just be up and leaving. He be getting into helicopter accidents. Like, I don't know. But I stopped watching after that. But I wasn't surprised. Was not surprised. I also enjoyed October Faction, and it was canceled. I've never heard of October Faction. She really did. Like, all of it. Just, where did it go? It was... Never forgiven him for that. Ever. I mean, there's only but so many 30-something Hollywood actors. Supergirl doesn't have rights anymore. And Melissa is it Benoist? Benoit? I don't think it's Benoit. I think it's Benoist. Deserves a better show. I'm gonna have to take your word for it because again, I don't watch Supergirl, so I don't really have any thoughts or opinions. The dancing baby is iconic. It was really bad CGI, but it was also like 30 years ago. So, hello, where is Jada at? It's a pandemic. What is she doing? Is it Amber? Okay, I think he carries it for me. If they do his character dirty, definitely. I just love Ambrose and the actor. He's my favorite Superman family and the teams in general. That's valid. I think what bothered me was it season 1? I felt that he got fucked over so bad in season 1 that I don't know. I stopped watching after the Comic-Con debacle. That's valid. They had Tony living in a house with Cheryl's twin brother's corpse and trying to get Cheryl. When I tell you, they wanted me to believe that this black woman was going to live with this corpse. Where? Like, and I understand that, and you know, here's the thing. Back when she was introduced, she was staying with Jughead because she was allegedly homeless. Like her uncle was locking her out of the house every night. Then we met the uncle like 3 episodes later so he could talk about the Native American rights and how the Serpents weren't actually a gang. The Serpents were supposed to be the indigenous group that lived in the Riverdale, the Sweetwater River Valley, whatever the fuck it is. And I was like, so we got the indigenous group being led by the white man, not the, okay, sure. Anyway, you want me to believe that this black indigenous girl is meant to be living with this rotting corpse and she ain't saying shit? No, I'm sorry. Homegirl got too many friends. Go stay with Peaches and Cream. Literally do anything. But you want me to believe with a corpse? No. I don't know a single black person that is staying in a house with a corpse. Not a single one. I mean, the baby was creepy, but it was also iconic. So she's trying to die is what I'm hearing. She like, fuck the pandemic. I'm going with my friends. Riverdale is a show that has to be experienced because there's literally not a single moment on the show that you can talk about with somebody if they haven't suffered it. You know, like you can't express the hurt that you've been dealt unless you've experienced it, which is why I don't like seeing people talk about it on Twitter, because I'm like, all of you stopped watching. Do I think you can talk about a show if you haven't watched it? Sure, but I just don't want to hear it from you. It truly is the whitest show, which is wild because Roberto is a Latinx man. He's also a gay man, but he be fucking over the gay characters. Like Kevin ain't got no kind of storyline. Not a one. No storyline for Kevin. I would say don't catch up, but honestly, it is. And I feel bad because I'm like, I don't watch a wide breadth of television. And I think that Riverdale, because it airs on the CW, even though it doesn't have like the greatest ratings, like it has CW ratings, but I think it's hard to argue that the CW isn't an accessible network. You know, it's pretty much a basic cable package. So of the basic channels you can get, I think you can even get the CW with an antenna. Like you don't have to pay for the shit. It's hard for me, like I think that because it's there, I'm like, you could really be doing something with this relationship. But instead, Cheryl is just the storyline is more, sterile. Cheryl likes girls and not like Cheryl and Tony are together. Because as soon as they got together, Tony just went out the window. It just didn't make no sense. I mean, I know a lot of people like them. I know that there's, for like teen dramas, I think that's what I was trying to get to just a second ago. Like for teen dramas, like the sapphic rep might not be there. Again, I'm not a current teenager. I don't know what current teenagers be watching. So like I understand wanting to support the sapphic relationship on a show where it's widely accessible, which is why I'm so mad that it's done so poorly. Like y'all got this. What are you doing with the platform, Riverdale? I mean, they're the same show. Roberto worked on Glee. I think that's what's so fucked up is that he worked on Glee, so like he knows what trash television is, and he is still giving us Riverdale. The Serpents went out the window the moment we found out that they were supposed to be the Native American population. Like when Tony's grandfather, uncle, whoever that man was, came in and said that the Serpents were the last remaining members of the native tribe of the Sweetwater River Valley, and they were being led by some crusty white man and former alcoholic, alleged former alcoholic, because FP he be doing shots left, right, center. Man ain't reformed at all. I was like, okay, the Serpents are nothing. Like, what is this? Then they had the Pretty Poisons for 3 seconds, but Cheryl had to run that shit too. And then they made Betty a fucking serpent. When they made Betty a serpent, the whole thing, we were done. Like, it was bad, but that was the worst possible choice. I mean, that we don't talk about that season. We thank you, but we don't talk about that season. We don't talk about the season with the farm. We just don't know about it. Yeah, that we don't talk about the cult. We don't talk about the farm. Thank you. Sometimes I be getting into these crazy ships, and I feel like, I mean, we've all been there. It's depressing to think so few teen shows. Yeah, I think that's really my problem with it. That's my biggest problem. Like, not a healthy relationship for Tony. Everything was about shit. Yeah, it's so weird. It's so yeah. How did you? That was the whole that whole episode. That was okay. So that when the episode starts off and it's Cheryl in front of her class giving a presentation about how her great grandpappy, I don't remember what his fucking name is, something Blossom, came and settled the Sweetwater River Valley. It was a choice. And then in that same episode, you had Tony out here protesting, and then I think at the end they chopped off great grandpappy Blossom's head because it was a wild storyline. Wild. I think it's called Pickens Day. I think that's the name of the episode. It's a whole mess. That is probably true. Thank you. I was like, you are like, this is the Native American tribe, and the white man is kicking the Native. Okay, I mean, I know that Vanessa Morgan is not indigenous. She ain't repping no kind of indigenous person, but for the purposes of the show, the character, that was a whole kind of choice. No, I don't like the LGBTQ is not healthy. So kids, yeah, I would have to agree. I will have to agree. Were they? I don't know. I think for me, it was hard to take them seriously when they were like this big bad group, being led by some random alcoholic, and all they seemed to be doing was hanging out in front of the drive-in theater. FP was going, although I guess in the first season, again, no kind of continuity. In the first season, they were dealing. I think they dealt like marijuana. But then in season 2, when we got the Jingle Jangle and what was the other stupid drug? No, Fizzle Rocks. That came later. We got the Jingle Jangle storyline. Suddenly, FP was like, "Oh, the Serpents have never dealt drugs." Things just be happening on that show because people want them to happen. Riverdale's just, and that it really is, truly is. But you know what? It's my show, and you know what? I feel like Mr. Archie Andrews is an underappreciated icon. Underappreciated. I'm gonna say it because it's true, and that's all I'm gonna say on that one. He's unappreciated. This has been a lot of fun. Okay, well, enjoy your rest. Hopefully you have sweet dreams. I don't think any of them are either, but again, it was a choice decision from a man. I know that the actor they got to play Tony's grandfather, uncle, whoever that man was, he is native. He is indigenous. Nancy Drew also included an indigenous storyline, and I was side-eyeing it, but the person they had to play the indigenous character was actually an indigenous person. So Archie, how do you not like Archie? Okay, season 1, Archie just wanted to sing and play some football. That's all he wanted. Then in season 2, okay, so when I first watched the show, I didn't care about Archie. Like, I'm going to be real honest with you. So I watched season 1. I probably should go back and unprivate my Riverdale videos, even though I don't have any of the same opinions. So when I first watched the show, I hated Archie Andrews. I was in love with Mr. Jughead Jones, and I thought that Betty Cooper was by far and away the worst Cooper in the Cooper family. Thought everyone in the Cooper family was more interesting. But then we got season 2, and season 2 made me open my eyes and be like, you know what? Sometimes all you really want to do is sing and play some football. They had Archie Andrews driving his father to the hospital while he was bleeding out in the seat next to him, and I was like, I feel so bad for you right now. Like, this is a moment, Archie. This is a moment. And then he had to deal with that kind of a trauma. And all through season 2, people were complaining that he was like trying to join with Hiram, and he was trying to join the mafia. But I was like, this boy is like 16 years old, and he just had a gun held to his head. Like, can you imagine feeling so powerless? You have a gun to your head, and then you know that your father is shot, and then you're driving him to the hospital, and you don't even know how to drive because boy don't have his license. It just clicked for me. Like, it made sense. Like, you know what? When you feel powerless, you be doing some weird shit, like maybe trying to join the mafia. I was here for it. Let's get this. I do think that the little like Archie, Hiram, like back and forth is a little sad because Hiram is like 55 years old. I also think that it's a little beneath Hiram, who was introduced as like this white collar criminal and has like slowly devolved into just being like basic Mexican mafia man. But that's a story for another day. I'm also not a Latinx individual, so like it's not my place to really critique Mr. Hiram like that. But I thought his season 2 storyline was iconic. Then his season 3 storyline, and then he got buried alive. They sat there and had Archie get buried alive. More trauma. This boy just wanted to sing and play some football, and now not only was his father shot, he's getting buried alive by his best friend, by the man who shot his father. Come on now. This man he just wanted to sing and play some football. That's all he wanted. And then he got season 3 where he was in that stupid like juvenile detention center. He got like forced into the little underground fight ring. Not a cute moment. He got attacked by a bear. That was not a cute moment. He was on the run from his life. Not a cute moment. You had the stupid Dungeon and Dragon ripoff plot line where they had like literally the whole town trying to kill this man. This man is 16 and all he wanted to do was sing and play some football. Underappreciated. And what does Archie do? Archie is always there for literally everybody. Everybody got shit going on, and this man's been through the most, and all he needs to do is see his therapist, but he'll drop everything and anything for all these other hoes. Underappreciated icon, Archie Andrews. Good night. Hope you have some lovely. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind having people of color criminals. I'm not Latinx. I understand that's like a thing that y'all are gonna deal with. But like I said, when he was introduced, the lodges were white collar. They slowly devolved, and I don't understand why. But also, Veronica deserves better. They did make him fight a bear. He didn't fight a bear. He got attacked by a bear. He didn't fight it. After, in season 3, he got run out of town by Hiram, who was still trying to kill this man. So he wound up just going to Canada. He was like, fuck this. I can't stay here. So he went to Canada, and he was like working with like some national park, and he got attacked by a bear. He wasn't fighting a bear. Yeah, like Archie went through a lot. Okay, see, you don't get to have a conversation. He was not a whore. He was not. Season 1, Archie immediately fell in love with one Miss Veronica Lodge, and you love to see it because she is what? An icon. And he dated Valerie for like 3 seconds. I did feel bad because I was like, that's kind of fucked up. But when Valerie was like, bitch, you don't really want me, and she dumped his ass, that was again iconic. The only person Archie has really ever had sex with was Veronica, And then in season 3, when Josie was using him for sex. But that's it. He was not a whore. Y'all are liars. Get out. You made it sound like you didn't like. This man just wanted to sing and play some football. He was, and that wasn't something he wanted. That was a forced thing. Yes, they were out here blaming him for his groom, that nasty ass Miss Grundy. The only thing, the only good that came from that stupid serial killer plot line was her ass getting murdered. Only good thing. How Veronica getting on your get out? Veronica's an icon. I don't take Veronica slander. Any Disney Plus taking it? I do not have Disney Plus. So I was going to wait and get it. I think like next week, July 3rd is when the Hamilton is dropping on Disney Plus. I was going to use the trial period then. I think Beyonce has a film coming out at the end of July, so I might wait and just use that then. But I don't know if it's like a film because I saw like the visuals from it and like I was just confused. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I don't know what Beyonce is doing with her life. I'm gonna support her, but I don't know what that was. I truly don't. Miss Betty. My major issue with Riverdale is that it refuses to have Betty be wrong literally ever. Like, literally ever. Episode 3 was when I was really done with Miss Betty. Miss Betty, we're in season 1, episode 3. And she finds out, I think Chuck had like posted, I guess, that like Veronica gave him head. Like, I guess I was supposed to be the insinuation. I don't really know what a sticky maple is. I think that's what it was supposed to be. I don't know. They found out the little burn book of like the little points that they were keeping track of. First of all, the show only singled out Chuck Clayton, the black man, even though literally the entire football team was in there. So like everybody in the book, only Mr. Clayton is getting singled out. Miss Betty, 3 episodes into the show, tries to kill him, like legit drown this man. For what? Okay, Miss Betty. Then in season 2, when she finds out that her dad is like the Black Hood, she tries to get him to kill the fake chick. Straight, and to be fair, the audience, everyone involved thought that she murdered him too. Like, she led that man to his death. For what? The show, like, anytime something happens on the show and Betty is involved, it don't matter how wrong Betty is, the show is going to make Betty right. And I just don't get it. I don't understand. I know people were talking, I think it was like, season 2, when they had Kevin Keller out there cruising in the woods, and they were talking about, they had Betty follow him, and Betty was like, you need to love yourself, Kevin. You can't have sex in the woods. Like, you need to respect yourself. And everyone wanted to act like she was being this good friend to Kevin. And it's like, bitch, you literally put on a black wig that you got at Party City to explore some like kinky shit with random bitches. And Kevin can't have sex in the woods? Like, should 16-year-old boys be out in the woods having sex with grown-ass men? No, they shouldn't. Like, no. But I'm not gonna. That's all that RES is giving Kevin was that scene in the woods. He got to have Moose's dick once, and I felt really good for him. But then Moose was gone, so he didn't get to have that dick again. So if all Kevin is gonna get is dick in the woods, then by all means, Kevin, get as much dick in the woods as you can get. That's what happens. That she is okay. There are so many other people on this show. Polly is right there. You can stand Polly. Even season 1, fucking what is Alice Cooper season 1, iconic. As soon as they had that weird little you know what? Let's go back to Betty for a second. Can we talk about how they sat there and gave Jughead and Betty a whole ass shared sibling? A whole shared sibling. And they were still trying to smash. You are literally living in the house with your parents who are still around, and your parents are smashing, and you're smashing, and your shared sibling is coming over for dinner, and y'all acting like this is normal? The peak The epitome of whiteness. Yep, I'm not gonna put the Grundy thing on the screen, but yeah, that happened. Yes, Veronica be slut shamed all kinds of ways, and she an icon, and I support Miss Veronica and all she does. I love Veronica. We all need therapy after experiencing that dark Betty. And then what really killed me is like season 1, they kind of like hint that like maybe she actually has something. Like in the pilot, you see her taking medication. It's like immediately dropped. Like she'll never talk to a therapist outside of like the Miss Bumble episode. Which we talk about how they got Gina Torres to come on this trash show. They got Chad Michael Murray to come on this trash show. They have all these iconic people. They have Molly Ringwald. They have Luke Perry. May he rest in peace. Skeet Ulrich. Like all these, like even Marisol and fucking Mark. Like all these iconic older people on this show. How? I mean, I don't mind. I don't think. Do I wish that Riverdale focused more on the school? Sure. But every time I try to do a school storyline, it's even worse than the Speakeasy. So I don't mind it. I need Dark Betty to stop. Don't need it. Yes, that's what he needed to do. That's his name. That's his name. Moose Mason, he had a horse-sized dick, and Kevin only got to play with it once. It was sad. Alice Cooper is, I don't know Alice now. Like her fashion sometimes is still iconic. For the most part, I don't know Miss Cooper now. Yes, the parents are living together and y'all are still trying to smash. Like, what is this? Because the show refused to give her. I mean, they had like his relationship, like that. The brief moment of Moose and Kevin we actually got to see was so good. Although I was actually really bitter because they had to kill off Midge to do it. And you know what? I was low like when they were in the diner and it was like Mood. It was Midge and Moose on one side and Kevin on the other side. I was like, you know what? I don't usually fuck with a throuple, but this is a throuple I could get behind. Like, give it to me. And then they killed her off. It was a whole mess, and people still defend that. They still act like she wasn't trying to kill Chuck. Veronica knew she was trying to kill Chuck. What do you mean she wasn't trying to kill him? Listen, Veronica's cool. Stop. Okay, maybe Daddy, but Archie Kens, I'm cool with it. Yeah, Andy Cohen just randomly popping in as himself. Okay, I mean that made sense because he seems like the kind of person that Roberto would be friends with, but I do think I think they give all of the characters really oddly specific dialogue, but it is what it is. They did kill him for no good reason, but I didn't like Joaquin. I'm going to be very honest with you. I thought that Joaquin was Kevin's worst love interest. He used Kevin the entirety of the season. They never had a conversation about it. And then anytime Joaquin, and then when he finally popped back up in season 3 and they saw each other, it was like they didn't get to have a conversation then either. So this whole like kiss goodbye at the bus stop to like the Netflix Black Mirror reference point, like I didn't care about Joaquin. I think that he was probably done dirty, but Rob Rocco is an Italian man out here playing Latinx characters. So do I care about him? Not really. Riverdale sounds like Pretty Little Liars, but I mean that's really what it is. But yes, that's what we're rocking today. I have watched Pose, and I enjoyed both seasons actually. I was gonna say, you didn't know Rob Rocco was Italian? Yeah, Rob Rocco is Italian. Rob Rocco is not Latinx. Moose is fine, and Cody Kearsley could get it. Cody, I was really mad that I didn't like Daybreak because Daybreak is all Cody Kearsley's been in since being on Riverdale, and so I'm like, I can't appreciate you, sir. I'm not Latinx, but if other people want to have that opinion, I'm not going to stop them. Oh, that's really cool. Congratulations. I was not an extra on Pose. Angel is my baby. I really liked Mr. Little Poppy. And I really wanted to see Mr. Little Poppy get smashed by some fine man. But I did like him with It was Angel, right? They got together in season 2. That was a cute moment, but started. That's the wrestling show, right, on Netflix with I want to say Allison Brie. Is it Allison Brie? I don't know. I loved Daybreak. He was so fine in that show. I don't know. There's something about the pilot that I didn't really like. I think I got a couple of episodes in, maybe 3 episodes. I don't know. There was a lot of because when I get invested in a show, I get invested in who was in the show. And so I be Googling. That's what I be doing. What is this? I'm assuming this is about Pose. Season 1 of Pose, yeah. Season 1 of Pose is really good. I think that Pose is one of the shows that does a time skip well, because I think season 2 is like, I don't want to say super far later, but it's definitely further ahead. And the first season was really good. See, that's what people do. Is this because, where is it? Is this because I said Justin Baldoni was also Italian? In the comment section if you're live. Because I thought everyone knew that Mr. Raphael was not a Latinx character. Can we talk about I never finished Jane the Virgin because I thought that it just got real messy? I think the downfall of Jane the Virgin for me was season 4 when they announced that Tyler Posey was going to join the cast as a bisexual character. And then they had Jane be super biphobic. And then Tyler Posey wasn't on the show. I mean, also Gina Rodriguez was just a trash person. And so I didn't want to watch season 5. So, only person on that show I liked was Petra. Petra deserved better. Thank you. I'm sure it was. I heard who Jane ended up with, and I had never been more happy to not finish a show in my entire existence, because that, my friends, was what I call garbage. Yeah, that's valid. Reminds me of when Leah Michele cried about not playing a Latina. I guess we could talk about Glee for a second. I don't think we've talked about Glee on one of my lives, but I said this in about everyone else's I've ever been in. I only watched like the first, I always say the first 2 seasons, because I don't think I finished season 3 of Glee. I remember I got to like the halfway point where Jesse St. James, Mr. Jonathan Groff appeared, and they let fucking Rachel have like a 3rd audition for Nyada after her ass got rejected. Can we talk about how it makes no goddamn sense that Kurt got into Nyada the first time and Rachel didn't? Like, let's take out the fact that Leah Michele is like a trash individual and probably a racist, and that Rachel was kind of, I don't know, overbearing or whatever. But can we talk about how it makes no goddamn sense that Kurt Hummel got into fucking Nyada of all places? Like, what? Okay. But so I watched like the first 3 seasons. I didn't watch 4 and 5. I didn't really care about the new newbies. I wasn't here for it. But I came back for season 6. Season 6 is low-key the best season if you exclude like a handful of the last episodes. Like the Hurt Lockers, part 1 and 2, terrible episodes. 2009, terrible episode. But a good like 10 episodes of season 6 are low-key the best. And Samantha Ware is fucking like high-key some of the best parts that Glee ever did. Her cover of Tightrope, iconic. I mean, maybe. Yes, Petra did deserve. She was great. She was a beautiful person. The first season was one of the great shows I would watch and enjoy with my mom, but I decided I'd never watch further. That's valid. I have not seen Outer Banks on Netflix. I saw some like caps of it, and it just looked like, is it like the Gen Z Dawson's Creek? That's what it looks like to me. I didn't like. I was Team Michael, the correct team. I'm not spoiling the show with. I'm not spoiling the show with people. You can Google it. She did end up with Jesse. That was the iconicness of it. And I mean, like, part of me only feels like she ended up with Jesse because Corey Monteith tragically passed away. I think that if Corey had survived, he would have, Mr. Ryan Murphy would have ridden that Finchel train to the end. I could never get on board with Fenchel, but she ended up with the right man as far as I'm concerned. Kurt got on my nerves. He was Rachel, but people let it slide. I don't think he was like. I don't think he and Rachel were all that similar at all. And I thought that it was really strange anytime they like. There were times that I really fucked with the Kurt Rachel friendship, but then there were times where the show wanted me to believe that they'd always been friends, and it's like, bitch, I watched season 1. Like these two were not friends. Like it kind of bothered me that the show low-key dropped Mercedes as Kurt's friend to have him be best friends with Rachel. It was weird. It was a weird moment. So also Klain could never get on board with it. That whole situation made me hate Darren Criss an irrational amount for years of my life. How do you not know who Jesse St. James is? He's the most iconic Glee character. I do think you should watch season 6. I don't think you should watch anything else but season 6 of Glee. Because season 6 is the best season. Who is okay, let me see. Raphael was a fine man, right? Like he is a good looking man. Do I want him with Jane? No, I do not. I do, but you know what? I don't care. I don't care. I'm happy that I got what I wanted. All was right in the universe. The only bad thing about it was that stupid Klain baby she was carrying. Oh, okay. I mean, I was talking about Jane the Virgin. I don't like who Jane ended up with, but I'm not going to spoil Jane the Virgin. I'm going to be a good person. Aaron might get mad at me if I spoil Jane the Virgin. That's valid. Kurt felt like the token gay for exactly. I mean, that's probably best for your mental psyche. Haley, excuse me. Haley, we're in a fight. Who are you? What show were you watching? When Michael got up on the altar and he said his vows to Jane in Spanish, iconic. When they met at that bachelorette party, iconic. Season 4, of what? Of Glee? Or of Jane the Virgin? Because season 4 of Jane the Virgin was, you can't, what are you smoking? This man is an icon. I mean, Brett is a nice white man. Okay? Like, he looks like a white man. Would I call him fine as hell? No. He is a very average man. That's me right now. He's nice. He's attractive. I wouldn't swipe left on Tinder, but I wouldn't say he's fine as hell. You know, like I feel like you could find him at your local shopping mall. Wasn't season 4 the season with Tyler Posey and she was hella biphobic? That wasn't iconic to me. Raphael was fine. That scene where he was in the leather chaps, that was a choice, CW. That's valid. Like, if Gina could just keep her... That's why I haven't watched the new Scooby-Doo movie. You know how badly I want to watch that Scoob movie? I want to watch it so bad. Zac Efron as fucking the voice of Fred Jones. Inspired. But then they got Gina Rodriguez, so we ain't watching it. So is this saying you're a Raphael stan? Because that would be a choice. I guess that's valid, but I don't think you can find a man that looks like Raphael and acts like a Michael. Because Raphael never acted like Michael ever in his life. Man was always trash. Good night. Have fun. Well, I guess you're cleaning. You're not really having fun, but good night. I'm assuming that's about my Anna saying she's not a Michael stan, but I don't know who. I never got the Raphael hype. It was just weird to me. It's just weird. It really only felt like they were ever involved because they had a child. Stop. Michael Michael found out that his girlfriend had been artificially inseminated with somebody else's child. And not just anybody else, but his wife's boss, not his wife, I guess it was his girlfriend at the time, but his girlfriend's boss. Someone she could literally never get away from. And he was supportive the whole time. Supportive the whole time she wanted to write this book. Oh my goodness, but oh, he's annoying. Get out. Get out, all of you. Yeah, the little artist boo she had was played by Tyler Posey, and the little artist boo was bisexual, and fucking Jane couldn't handle it. She's like, oh, you kissed the boy, you're gay. Get out. I don't know if I was ever rooting for Miss Gina. I wasn't rooting for her. But, no. For what? For being a decent person after her husband died? No. No. Y'all, we need to talk about some other show, because y'all ain't got no kind of valid opinions about... You was rooting for Gina Woman? That is so true. That's they get paid terrible. I can't think of same. Although I try not to think about her. He really is. He also should get more work. I think the last thing he was in that I saw was Now Apocalypse. Did y'all watch Now Apocalypse? I don't think you did because it got canceled, but I would love to know. I see nothing wrong there. Season 2 is the best of Glee for you. I hate season 2 because that's when we met Mr. Blaine, and we have that whole Dalton storyline that made no sense. But that's just me, I think. I was rooting for her when JTV was starting and she won her Golden Globe, but it went down. Yeah, it went down. As soon as she got that Golden Globe, it was a wrap. Like, maybe I'm watching the wrong things, but men being bi is a plot device for love interest to leave and be... Yeah, that seems to happen a lot. Was Now Apocalypse good? Was Now Apocalypse bad? I don't know. It was an experience. I don't know what I expected from this show, except it's Now Apocalypse is probably the gayest show I've ever watched, which is weird because not everyone in the show is gay. It's very sex positive. It was an interesting 5 hours of my life. I still don't know what I think about it. I think that they promoted the show as like being Tyler Posey and Avon. I'm not gonna butcher this man's last name. Like boyfriend supernatural-ish show. I don't know what it was, but it was very weird. Jacob Artist from Glee appeared. Bill Meercroft was looking like a whole snack in it. So I recommend watching it. Like, it wasn't terrible, but like it's very explicit, and it was a moment. It was a moment in time. But let me know. But I can't wait to hear what you think. Let us know in the group chat. Yeah, Teen Wolf is another one of those shows that... Here's what I think. I think that Scott McCall and Archie Andrews are like low-key the same character. And so I think, I mean, obviously they're not, because Tyler Posey is Latinx man and Archie Andrews is a white character played by a white passing Samoan man. So yeah, I do think that Scott got paid dust by the show and the fans. But I also think that Jeff Davis didn't know what he was doing. I also didn't watch past season 2. I watched up until season 3, and I stopped with season 4. I didn't watch really anything with Liam in it at all. Or Liam's little black friend, who I guess actually got to be a part of the storyline and got to have a love interest. but I was still bitter about Danny because I felt they treated Danny like shit for 3 seasons, and then he disappeared, which was strange because they promised that he was going to be important. Like Teen Wolf was a whole mess of a show that I think, like I said, I just don't fuck with Jeff Davis after that show. I think that he didn't really know what he was doing. And I think that there was a reason that Mr. Jeff Davis got kicked off of Criminal Minds after season 1. Like, he invented the characters, but after that first season, he is nowhere to be found. He doesn't write anything. He just gets listed as a creator. So I think that he had no business writing a show. And the stands were definitely not helping. I hope you enjoy it. I can't even describe what it is. It was like I said, it was pitched to me as like Tyler Posey, Ava, and boyfriends. But there's like an alien situation kind of, and it's just weird. Who isn't? It made no sense, no kind of sense. And then I know that in like what was it, season 6 of the final season, they had Danny's ex-boyfriend get with Jackson, and like low key, to be honest, the only reason I started watching Arrow was for Colton Haynes. But I was like, so Colton gets to come back as a gay man dating his best friend's ex-boyfriend. That was a whole choice. They teased him having some like super major, like on social media, like the Teen Wolf Twitter account was like terrible, but they were out here like teasing that he was going to be important. And then they ended him talking about how, oh yeah, I knew you were a werewolf, never to be seen from again. Now, do I think that like Keahu was like the youngest looking person on the show? Not really. Like, dude looked pretty old. Like, he wasn't. I don't think he was the oldest character, like the oldest actor. I think that Daniel and Crystal were both in their 30s at the time. Although at the time, you could find Crystal's age anywhere on the internet. It was wild. People wanted to find her birthday. It was scrubbed. But so sure, you couldn't find it. I think Danny is like low-key the only character that there was a guy that maybe got killed off because they killed off Cor. Well, I guess Cor didn't get killed off. She was the only female character that didn't die to get written out. But poor Gage got killed off, and then her pilot didn't get picked up. Sucks to be her. I didn't watch a lot of the show. I didn't watch like half of it. I think I came back and they were doing like some weird Dread Doctors, and I didn't get it. And I was let down by the revelation of Lydia being like the Lydia revelation, because I see Aaron hasn't watched it, and Aaron be talking like, you spoiled me. So I'm not going to say what Lydia was revealed to be. But I feel like there were some people back in like the Tumblr days who were like, oh, I called it. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck Lydia was. But I didn't like that revelation. And then I didn't like what happened at the hospital. And then it was revealed that it didn't. It was a weird, no. And Brayden and Derek not being in game was, I didn't think they were ever going to be in game. Like we saw them hook up one time for what I remember, but I'm sorry that he didn't get that end game. They keep teasing a revival, so maybe in their revival. I hope Jeff Davis is not no piece. He had so much potential on his hands and did that instead. I mean, I don't think that anybody expected that show to blow up. I don't think, like, if you watch season 1 and season 2 of Teen Wolf, those are not like episodes or things that like are going to become what Teen Wolf became. They're just wildly different. The tone is wildly different than anything in the later seasons. And I think that's why I didn't want to watch past season 3. Like, I personally wasn't super mad about the death that happened. I understood that people were upset because it played into like a larger narrative of female characters getting killed off on this show and male characters somehow miraculously staying alive. And I thought that was a valid argument. But they was all okay. Like I watched 2 seasons of this show, and she wasn't important in either of the seasons I watched. So I don't know. I'm not mad at Mr. Jeff Davis, but I'm also mad at Mr. Jeff Davis. So There's Aaron, never watched an episode. Yep, I'm still here. It's only been, I guess it's almost been 2 hours. Wow, the more you know. I feel like I should maybe start wrapping it up. I don't know. Okay, so Gage Golightly was let go from Teen Wolf because she filmed a pilot for Nickelodeon. And when it came time to like start doing her filming again for season, I think she got whatever the season was. She didn't know if the pilot was going to get picked up. And if the pilot got picked up, she wouldn't have been available to shoot Teen Wolf. And so they just killed her off. And the pilot didn't get picked up. And I don't know what happened to her after that. It is. It's a wholly different show. And I'm like, you got me with the campiness and you lost me when you decided that you were going to go grim dark. I didn't sign up for grim dark. So I pieced out and I went on with my life. That's true. My sister used to watch Teen Wolf and I only saw the first few seasons before going to university, moving out. Yeah, it took a turn, and I kind of blame MTV because then after season 2, they realized they had something of a hit and they gave Mr. Davis more episodes. And I thought that season 3 made it very clear that he could not handle more episodes. And I just kind of stopped watching. And I think that every character he introduced after, I can't say because I didn't watch it, but I felt that Kira was probably underutilized. Don't remember her. I felt bad for her. Thought maybe she could do something interesting, but definitely underutilized. Yep, inconsistent. That's a choice. I've never heard of Big Wolf on Campus, but I also don't really have a need to. I don't really have a werewolf need that needs to get filled by things. I did not watch Eye Candy on MTV. I didn't watch a lot of MTV's programming because only I watched Teen Wolf and that was pretty much it. Kira could have had so much potential, but the execution was not there and she didn't need to be with Scott. I also don't think she needed to be with Scott. I wasn't mad that they were together. I've seen like moments of their relationship and like clips on YouTube and things. And I think they were cute and it was a different vibe than him and Allison, but I wasn't mad about it. Wasn't mad about it at all. Where's my water? I watched maybe like half a season of Awkward. Wasn't my gig. Wasn't my show. I love that for you, but I did not. When Teen Wolf was really big and like actually airing, I wasn't watching a lot of television. And if I was watching television, it was usually something on Netflix that I could binge. I've always been a fan of stuff I could binge over stuff that I have to watch week to week. Like, I hate Riverdale with a burning passion, but it's also one of like 3 shows that I actively try to watch as it airs. I watch Riverdale as it airs. I watch 911 as it airs. And I think that's probably, is that it? Oh, and I guess like Drag Race, because it's like a competition show. So like if I don't watch it, I get spoiled. Yeah, I feel like I've seen you talk about Awkward a couple of times on Twitter, but I watched some of it. But I think that's where I saw Bo Mirkoff for the first time, and I was like, oh, you're a nice looking person, but I never finished it. Awkward started watching Awkward, but then I got Awkward. I'm sorry. I think what happened was, so Teen Wolf was a show that I tried watching on MTV, and then I tried watching MTV's adaptations of Skins. I remember when they tried to do Skins on MTV, and like I'm not the biggest Skins person. Like I'm not going to sit here and like argue that Skins is like iconic and like beyond reproach, because I only care about the first 2 seasons of Skins. Like those other characters, I don't care, because after the first 2 seasons, like it was very clear to me that there was a formula for the show, that some character had to die and it kind of had to be tragic. But the first 2 seasons of Skins were my shit. and MTV just did not deliver. So watching DVDs, that is a choice. 9, it's my show. And I was so mad because I wanted to watch Lone Star. So I started watching because they were like, ooh, Lone Star is coming out. And I was like, sure, I'll watch Lone Star. I like 911. But then I started watching Lone Star and it just didn't hit the same. First off, I was big mad. I was big mad in the pilot. It just I don't mind if there is an addict character on the show that I'm watching, right? But I was big mad that said addict character like had an overdose in the pilot, like the first 20, not even 20 minutes, like maybe 10 minutes. And not only did he not face any kind of repercussions, but his father like willingly brushed it all under the rug, told all the people not to report it, moved them out of the state so he could give his son a job. It was a whole mess. And then like I want to support the gay relationship on Lone Star, but I'm like, if you can't give me the gay relationship that you've been baiting me with for 2 whole seasons on your 911 main show, I don't want the knockoff. I don't want the knockoff version. And they're not the same. They're very different characters. The dynamics are different. Still, I don't want it. I never saw Teen Wolf because I was such a TVD stan, and I felt like Teen Wolf was like their competition. Wow, I'm sorry for you. I mean, that made it sound really bad, but I'm like, of the 2 shows, I definitely would have preferred watching. I don't know, maybe Teen Wolf. Although Vampire Diaries does have Bonnie. Yeah, it's a better version. I mean, again, I only watched the first 2 seasons, but it's the better version. I mean, some people really like. I was annoyed with like the weird gay relationship knockoff, but I also thought that the white guy, like there's 3 of them, but like the one dude who survived. The premise of the show is that this Austin police station answered a call at like a fertilizer plant or whatever, and there was an explosion and like everybody at that station died, and so Rob Lowe has to come to Texas to like take it over or whatever. But this man not only was married to, what's her name, Sierra McLean, China's older sister, fine black woman. This man is low-key a racist. Like, and when I say low-key, high-key a racist. Like he was introduced to us being like a racist, Islamophobic, transphobic, homophobic, all the phobics. And then you had Rob Lowe sit here and take him under his wing and was like treating him like a son because Mr. Redneck found out about his cancer diagnosis. Whole ass mess. And so I was like, the only good thing about this show is she's like what is she, an EMT? I forget her name, but she's like the other older character on the show. She's the EMT. And like I guess her sister's like gone missing. She's trying to find her sister. Only highlight of the show. But Mr. Racist over here, all kinds of fucked up. I mean, I already knew that it's never gonna happen, but at this point, I'm just like, it don't make no sense for it not to. So I'm gonna keep my fingers. Yeah, that's how I felt. But I like the show even without them. Even without them like actually being together, I like it. Because I only started Teen Wolf because people made me think that Derek and Styles were going to be together. And then I was watching the show and I was like, this is disgusting. Like, y'all are out here shipping this. And so I knew not to really trust them with Buck and Eddie, but I was still a little bit disappointed. Just a little bit. I mean, it's nice to be wrong sometimes. I didn't watch The Vampire Diaries for the same reason, Gabriella, but I ended up watching season 2 and they're so different. Yeah, they are. They are very different. You rewatch it nonstop? Okay, I love that for you. Yeah, I think they'd be awesome co-parents too. I feel like everyone during the paranormal days was either Team Vamp or Team Wolf. I didn't care either way. Was this my last live where I said that it don't make no sense for vampires to get erections? I stand by that. Where's the logic? If you don't have a pulse, you shouldn't get to have a erection. All vampires are bottoms, confirmed. Yeah, I mean, I think that some of their like season opening CGI natural disasters are, some of them are a little bit questionable, but I'm happy with it. I'm assuming this is about me talking. Can I click on the right thing, please? Yeah, all vampires are bottoms. Like, that's the only logical fallacy. Like, fallacy. The only, it's true. Put it on a t-shirt. It's true. All vampires logically have to be a bottom. It don't make no sense for you to get an erection if you don't have a pulse. Mayana on the same wavelength. How is a vampire? They can't. It don't make no sense. It don't make any sense. Oh yeah, I'm not mad about it either. Like, I'm not I mean, it's better than what I think it would be, but I'm just like, this is kind of funny from time to time. Aaron, I think you're the only person in here who is team vampire sexual rights. Like, a mouth can only do but so much. Okay, here's the thing. I'm just going to say it like this. If you think that humans and fairies should be fucking, there is very little difference between a human and any other species fucking. Like, very little to me. Very, very little. Very little. And even if they were to fuck, okay, sure. I think what bothers me about fairy human fucking is really just Holly Black, because hers are the only fae that I've read. I mean, I guess technically Bryce is half fae, but Holly Black's world depends on humans producing half fae children, because actual fae women either are super infertile, or that's like, this is really it. Like, human women are just easier to get pregnant, which is weird to me because it seems like all the fairies in Elfhame were tricked into being there. And so presumably we're tricked into having these half-fae babies. So don't like it. I don't. And then the humans have like none of, like, I don't know. I feel like if you are going to be able to reproduce with the different species, like, you should have some kind of thing in common with that species. And the Fae are always portrayed as like being above humans. And so I'm like, what do you have in common? Like, how you having relationships producing fertile offspring because all your little half-fae men are out here fucking up women like human mortals. So how are you producing fertile offspring if you are that genetically dissimilar? Make it make sense, please. Where are the biologists in the chat? I would love for you to explain it to me. Because as far as I know, all the other interspecies productions are always sterile. Like mules, they ain't giving birth to nobody. Ligers ain't giving birth to nobody. So, see, it's just valid. You can have your emo dream if you can. That part also. All right, just make it make sense to me. Make it make sense to me. When you die, your member is permanently upright. The muscle hardens in rigor mortis. But I don't think that's how that works. I'm sorry. That's even worse, actually. Like, that's even worse. Immortal don't get tired. Okay. But you human, you're not immortal. I don't understand it. Like you're acting okay. Could we just the way this is worded? It's like you're expecting me to understand some human dolphin. No, I don't understand human dolphin romance. Okay, I don't have like a wide variety. Like I said, I read Crescent City. Homegirl is half Fae, so you know what? Bryce can have a child as far as I'm concerned because I understand half of her. Mayana, you're really gonna say the Holly Black writes good Fae? You're really gonna say the Holly Black writes good Fae? Really? I would say that Cassandra Clare writes better Fae than Holly Black. I mean, I guess I just don't understand it. I don't get it. That's a whole different being. Okay, but the fertile offspring only counts in the biological species concept, and I'm sure the bio community hasn't agreed on that one. I don't know. I wanted to say it's important species love. Yeah, thank you. It's a small bridge from fucking a fairy. I mean, I guess that the difference is like, what is the word I want? I should not have been drinking that White Claw. I don't want to say intelligence, but like, Cassandra Clare, she wrote a whole fucking Fae story on the Dark Artifices, and only like one fairy, I guess two, like Helen Blackthorne and Mark Antony, iconic Fae characters, best Fae characters I've ever read. Mayana, yeah, see, I mean, and I'm about to find out about Miss Mass. I'm about to find out. I mean, I guess that's the difference, but like, y'all can fuck fairies all you want. It just won't be me. Where shifters, right there. I would even argue vampires are acceptable. Again, all vampires are bottoms, but I would argue they're acceptable. At least they used to be human. At some point, they were a human body. I mean, this is pretty tame compared to some lives that I've seen, to some private chats I've seen. So I mean, it ain't that bad. No one's been saying they want to get choked yet. So if somebody wants to get fucked by a fairy, at least fairies aren't real. So we are at 2 hours and 7 minutes. We should probably start winding down. So I'm gonna say at the half hour, so 8:30 for me, I'm gonna call it. So that's a good 22 minutes to wrap things up. If there's anything else people want to talk about, we've run quite the gamut tonight, and I appreciate it. It's definitely been an entertaining time for Monty. Let's get some actual water. Now that that's gone. Oh, did everyone get scared away? I know you said wait, never mind, like right after. Like, I like I said, y'all can do whatever you want with whatever weird fantasy creatures you want to do it. I'm happy. I support y'all. It just won't be me. Like, that's not my ministry, as Aaron would say. That's not my bag. I will leave it unsecured for the people. It's just not. It's not what I'm into. No, I mean, they have some pointy ears. Stop. No. No. Did I really? I really just sat here and clicked out of all the comments. So that's how my night is going. Let me pull it back up. Luckily, I'm not streaming from the Surface, or that would have been a moment to be annoyed with for certain. Not scared away, just thinking about folks wanting to. I mean, if you're going to say it, you might as well say it with your whole chest. It's just phase personalities be hitting. No, I love a good. You really looking for a scammer? That's something you shouldn't say with your whole chest. I don't know if I would say I'm looking to be scammed. I'm trying to find the scammer. I don't know if I would put that out there in the universe like that. Also, just manly why would you do to Storygraph and had to relive my emo vampire werewolf teen days? Storygraph is an interesting website. I am on Storygraph. I am not on Booksloft. All of the screenshots I've seen of Booksloft just, I don't know. I think people have a lot of issues with Goodreads. I just don't have. I think that my biggest issue with Goodreads is maybe that they're owned by Amazon. But so much of the internet is hosted on Amazon servers that, like, even if they don't own the website isn't possible without Amazon. So I appreciate that other people are out here trying to innovate and do better. The aesthetics of Booksloft, I don't think are it, though. So I don't know something about the cruel the phase are, except like magical bargains they do are hot. I'm happy that works for you. Can we talk about? I've never watched The Order, but if you want to talk about it, I will listen. Monet is a scammer. I mean, I love Monet too, but would I be out here on live saying that I want to marry Monet? I'm good. You marry a scammer and you gonna wake up in an empty house. How else am I supposed to say it? Like, I could write a whole essay about themes and symbolism, but this is the easier way. I mean, I guess so. I guess you're also out here looking for the magical bargains. I don't know. I don't really fuck with the magical bargain. I don't be fucking with like, oh, here's the loophole. Like, if I wanted a loophole, I would just look at a normal contract. Like, just go fuck a lawyer. I've only seen season 1 of The Order. Want to be gayer. Is season 2 gay? I have no idea because I've never watched it. Goodreads has some issues, but it has the best organization. I just don't. Here's the thing. I don't need a half star. I think that Goodreads, when you hover over each of the stars, gives a very short and simplistic answer as to what each of those stars mean. 1 star is you didn't like it. A 2 star, was it okay? 3 star, it was good. 4 stars, you loved it. 5 stars, it was amazing. I don't need anything between great and amazing. There's no, I mean, is there a gray area there? Sure, maybe, possibly. Do I need to represent it with a half star? I really don't. I think that seems to be people's like biggest complaint, and I don't think any of these other alternatives offer half stars at this point. Sure, at this point, they might be more open to incorporating them into their system because they're new. But Goodreads is just ugly. I mean, okay, but all the screenshots I've seen of Booksloft are just as ugly. Like, they're just ugly. Like, I haven't seen one screenshot where it looks good. The black and purple is like when you put your computer on like hard to read mode or like invert colors. It's just not a cute look. Half stars are not needed. They are useless. Yes, fuck a lawyer. You know you're a scammer. It's not like we've been keeping it a secret. Yeah, I mean, the search engine is weird. But no, they are not needed. I don't need 10 stars. I don't need to go out of there either. I mean, this Storygraph, I don't do anything on Storygraph. but that's cute. Okay, here's the thing. Anytime maybe this is just me being too in my feelings, but I said this in my 2019 retrospective, and I felt this way for a long time. But I think that people come to my reviews and they see that I'm like critical of things, and they expect me to like really go in on it. Not like expect to go in on the book, but like when I'm rating it is like often the easiest part for me. I think that a rating should be very black and white. I think that it should be a nice whole number. I think that the nuance comes in the review. Like you can have as many shades of gray in the review as you want, but I think that when I'm trying to like boil down like what is the difference between like a 3-star and like a 3.25 star. And I know that there's like the compile system and like you plug in all your numbers and it'll give you a rating at the end, but that is just too technical for me. I'm not breaking down books by their individual components. I'm breaking them down by the overall what worked in the story and what didn't work in the story. And so I don't need a 1/4 star. I don't need a 1/2 star. A whole star, I can do that just fine. I've given them all the chances, and I agree. My rankings are Goodreads for my reading friends, Storygraph, and Booksloft. They're missing a lot. I'm sure they're missing a lot. Like, I'm not going to judge them against Goodreads at this moment, just because Goodreads has obviously been around a lot longer than those platforms, and so there's going to be things that they have that Goodreads does. I mean, Goodreads are going to have things that those things doesn't. And they're also, Goodreads, I'm assuming, has a much larger team working on it than Booksloft or the Storygraph. I wish them all the best, but I will probably be on Goodreads until my dying breath, or until publishing makes it to where it's convenient to leave things on Storygraph or Booksloft. I don't use Letterboxd, but okay. I honestly don't know. I've only I imported my Goodreads stuff to Storygraph, but I haven't actually used the website very much. I agree, the ratings are super easy for me. Having more options make it slightly more clear how I felt. Yeah, I don't want to spend 12 minutes trying to figure out, is this a 3-star book or a 3.75 star book? It's just a gut reaction. I'm at a point where I don't even rate half the books I read. 2 books would be the same rating, but not on the same level for me. That's also incredibly valid, and I respect that. Okay. Yeah, I don't even like rating books. I know a lot of people have recently moved away from rating their books. I tend to still rate most of the things that I read. When it comes to things like nonfiction, sometimes it's a little bit harder for me, or like poetry, or just books that I know that aren't necessarily for me. I will still discuss how it made me feel, but I might not leave a rating. It just kind of depends. But I don't think I'm ever going to completely not rate things, because I still enjoy. I don't know if enjoy is the right word, but apparently Letterboxd is the place to be. Maybe if I watched more movies. Isn't that where people go to to review their movies that they watch? I don't watch enough, so yeah, I don't think that I could either. Like, I understand, like, some people, I like when I'm reading their post or I'm watching their video that they made, I get it, but at the same time, I'm like, it's not that deep for me, so I'm sure you saw this, Mayana, but we have requests for your Letterboxd in the chat. As far as I know, you could be already typing, but in case you missed it. In case Alexis missed it, or in case somebody watching the playback wants to follow Mayana on Letterboxd. There it is for you. What is it? We got 10 minutes left to go. I find that I usually have to wait to rate things. Otherwise, I go back a year later and change what I had. I know people do that a lot. I can't drink. I find that I think my reviews on Goodreads are probably so bad because usually what happens is I'll finish a book and then I immediately decide time to write the review, and so I just write them stream of consciousness style. Usually the star rating doesn't change. I think docile is probably the one that's changed the most because initially I gave that thing 2 stars, and then I was looking at it and I was like, this is not a 2-star book because I'm out here saying 2-star books are good, and even though in my review I was like, you can go buy it if you want, that's a 1-star read. So usually I'm pretty good about keeping how I felt about a book, but sometimes it does change. Goodreads lists are so useful when I'm trying to find a book. I don't think I've ever meaningfully used a Goodreads list, but I'm happy they exist. I don't change ratings. I felt hope. I felt at the same. Okay, that sentence makes no sense to me. I felt hope. I felt at the time. Oh, that's sad. Interesting concept. I change ratings sometimes because that's not even what the sentence says. I change ratings because sometimes, yeah, that's valid. Oh, I felt. I don't change ratings. I felt how I felt. That's also valid. I think that, yeah, that's valid. And I think that it's valid if over time you decide that a book is actually better than you thought it was, or worse than you thought it was. They're not. I don't think reviews or ratings are meant to be like monuments to like last forever, in terms of like you always have to feel that way about something. But I understand that for some people, that's how it happens. But even if you do change, that's still just how you felt when you read it. Like my Gone with the Wind review, which has been getting a little bit more attention, I've noticed. I've seen some people watching it. Those views have gone up. Do I agree with those things in that review? Not quite so much. There were some things that I wish I could take back that are kind of cringe now. But 2017, Monty decided that's how he felt. I don't think there's anything in that review that is like questionable. What was your last 1-star read? Mine was Allegiant. People hate Allegiant, and I don't understand why. I know that's not what the question is. But that's just not how I felt. As for the actual question of what is my latest 1-star read, let's not lie. Let's open up my Goodreads. Let's not lie to the people. Because off the top of my head, I don't even remember the last book I gave 1 star was. It might have been Docile when I revised that rating, but let's see here. Is this what I wanted? No. Reading challenge. I don't even want the website. That's what I want. As for this one, my current read, I am still reading. I started Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare on my What Are Time Zones reading sprint, and I'm going to finish that. Then I think I'm going to start working. Excuse me. I also said this, I think in that same What Are Time Zones reading sprints, that I have a fuck ton of September arcs, and I have a video idea of how I want to read and review them. But because I have like 16 of them, I need to start sooner rather than later. I also want to start putting together an idea of, in my birthday book haul, which I uploaded earlier today, I discussed the potential of a book club type situation for the channel, or like a buddy read type situation, so it's like not as pressured. So I'm going to try and think of names and books for that as well, which is going to be quite the complication. But let's see here. That's not even what I want. I want my reading stats. I keep clicking on the wrong thing. Wrong thing. Reading stats. So the last book that I gave 1 star this year was Conventionally Yours by Annabeth Albert. I did finish Felix Ever After. The live show is tomorrow on Aphrodite Reads' channel. So be with Heather and Carly and myself. And I think that Heather and Carly have vastly different opinions than I did about that book. So if you want to hear us talk about it, that'll be tomorrow. I think it's like 7, 8 Central. All the information is on the Cover Horrors Book Club Twitter account. I forget the actual @ for the Cover Horrors, but if you go to Aphrodite Reads with 2 S's on Twitter, I know that Heather has it linked in her bio. Red, White, and Royal Blue and Alice Osman novels got a 2-star for me. Oh, Red, White, and Royal Blue is not a 1-star for me, but I was thinking of making Emergency Contact the first book for the book club. Haven't decided. It is not a firm one, but the first book will get announced in August. The first one will be in August. I will announce the book, hopefully by mid-July, and then the live show for it won't be until the end of the month, sometime that last week of August. That way you have like 2 weeks of July, all of August to be able to read it, and then we'll come and discuss. Allegiant broke the world building of the first 2 books. The author should have served it. I mean, maybe. I remember when I think when I read it back in the day, everyone was mad about the ending, not so much about the world building. And I personally wasn't mad about the ending and what character died. I do think the book was weird, though. I do think that having 4 as a narrator was odd. I do think that what was happening was odd, but the ending I don't think I had a problem with. My last 1-star was The Winter's Curse like 2 years ago. That's probably smart. I have a really hard time. I have a hard time. I'll be real. I avoid any male written by a woman. Well, I do know that Casey McQuiston, I think they're non-binary. So Casey is not a woman. As for Alice Oseman, I tried reading Solitaire. I didn't like it, so I just don't read them. Allegiant was boring. I will say that. I think that my favorite is still probably Insurgent, but I also read Divergent and Insurgent in a single day. So when I say that it's like my favorite or I was able to get through them quickly, I got through them in the same amount of time. That's when I was using Barnes & Noble as like a public library because I was too lazy to get a library card, and so I would just sit in the store and read books. That's my fun story. We are coming up to the final 3 minutes. So, truly, any last-minute things you want to talk about? Now is the time. Like I said, tomorrow I'll be live with Heather and Carly talking about Felix Ever After. So if you've read it, come hang out with us there. I'll be sure to tweet the link tomorrow. And I'll probably, after the live is over, I'm sure there's a graphic that I can retweet from the Cover Horrors, so you can set a reminder tonight. I like Heartstopper, but her novels are hard. I don't want to read Heartstopper because I didn't get through Solitaire. I just miss going to Barnes & Noble. I was so close to going to Barnes & Noble today because I was like, it's my birthday. I should buy myself some birthday books. But then I was like, bitch, you bought yourself 12 books at the beginning of the month, and I still haven't touched any of them. And one of them was a graphic novel, so I could really be done with it. And I have like a Kindle full of arcs. Like, I don't need to treat myself to anything. Last night, I got the arc for Alyssa Cole's Thriller. So excited. I'm telling you, that September arc video, if I can get it right, it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a good video. There will not be a lot of September content if I do that September arc video. Between the September arc video and then the Gossip Girl September video that I promised in today's haul, like September is just going to be a very low-key month on the channel. So there will be that. Remember how the Divergent series went so downhill? Here's the problem, was that Allegiant didn't need to be 2 movies. Like, nobody wanted any of, like, the bigger franchises to even do that. Like, people complained about Breaking Dawn and HP7, and The Hunger Games splitting their books into 2 movies. And so Allegiant being 2 movies made no sense. No sense at that point. And so why they decided to do that was wild to me, especially given the fact that those movies weren't getting bigger, they were getting smaller. And so the fact that I also think that at that point the cast probably could have done the HBO movie, because it wasn't like they were trying to put it on like Fox. It was going to be on HBO, but the cast was like, that's not what I signed up for. And more power to them, but I also didn't watch any of them, so I miss bookstores. Yeah, I also miss them, but it's okay, because I would rather be alive and not at the bookstore than at the bookstore. I did not watch the movies because I was mad about. That's valid. I loved the Gossip Girl books as a kid. I'm so glad you're reading them. I'm looking forward to reading them. I am excited to own them, at least for the aesthetic. But with that, we've gone over a little bit on this little 2-hour, 30-minute situation. So thanks for coming out to celebrate further with me. I'll be on Twitter for the rest of the night, probably longer than I should be. I will try to remember to tweet out about the Felix thing as soon as I get done here. I'll retweet it again tomorrow. I think that's all the major announcements that I have. So I'm going to go. Remember to stay hydrated, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye-bye. There we go.